Hello viewers, I'm SB and this is A House of Many Doors. The thing that attracted me to this game is that my understanding is it was designed and written primarily by a guy called Harry Tufts. You might not be familiar with him by name, but if you've been around the channel for a while, you might be familiar with his work. He wrote some sections of Sunless Skies, including, he is credited for the writing in the Song of the Sky Ambition and the Martyr King's Cup Ambition, which are two of my favorite parts of that game, those plot lines. So this game is not officially in the same Fallen London universe as Sunless Skies, but there's that connection, and then also the game was partially funded by Failbetter Games, so it's certainly Fallen London adjacent, at least. I've been looking forward to getting into this for a long time, and now is when I feel we have our appropriate moment. So let's enter the House of Many Doors. I really do not know very much about what we're getting into here. Aside from the tone, which I think we could all make a reasonable guess at. Broken glass crunches behind your eye. Two concerned faces swim into view. "Can you remember your name?" asks the balder of the two. I remember this. I am happy with this choice. Think carefully, it will be with you for a while. Don't I know it? Oh, good. The bald-headed man sits back. Rutherford. His name comes to you in a flash. You raise your fingers to your temple and brush over a rough bandage. Somewhere beneath, you can feel a tender hole in your skull, still oozing. Bandits, says the other man. Monobrow. Bradley is his name. Ambushed us, boarded us, took a memory right out of your head. Wait, sorry, what happened to my head? Didn't you know? Rutherford laughs. That's how they get the memories out. He mimes a drill. Oh, cool. Where are we? You are in the house, says Bradley. The captain is disoriented, not an idiot. Rutherford turns to you. We're out in the darkness, just a few rooms west of the City of Keys. We didn't get far. Sorry, what is the house? Rutherford and Bradley exchange brief, worried glances. Must have dislodged something when they yanked the memory out, mutters Rutherford. The house is a parasite dimension, says Bradley. Endless dark rooms and locked doors. It steals things and people from other worlds. Ah, yes, it's all coming back to you now. Why would we be in such a place? Exploration, says Bradley. He pauses. You had some damn fool notion about escaping the house. Impossible, of course, but a question that had gnawed at your soul for years, nevertheless. One day, you bought a kinetopede of your own, a clanking train on mechanical legs, hired a ragtag crew, and launched yourself into darkness. A memory was stolen from you. You're curious as to why. Bradley smashes his fist into his palm. We'll chase him down and hang him. Well, steady on, says Rutherford. You're in no condition to go chasing down miscreants, SB. I want to make sure your brain wasn't too badly damaged. Let me ask you some questions about your past. Alright, yeah, let's take an opportunity here to establish a little bit of backstory. Probably everybody can see now, very, very clearly, all of the Sunless Skies dripping off of this. My impression is that this was sort of this was in development at the same time that Sunless Skies was in development, so he was sort of working on both, and I think we're probably going to see a fair amount of cross-pollination like this. Yeah, I don't mind answering a few questions about my past. Care to inspect the damage? Rutherford hands you a looking glass. Okay. I like the art style. We can't not be Tiger Man. There's a bunch of options here that are wrong, and then one that's kind of fine, because that's cool, and then also Tiger Man. A bandaged face stares back from the mirror. You lift the cloth and gaze at the puckered crater above your ear. It's about the size of a penny. Well, that's not so bad. No wise decision. Rutherford sits opposite, a notepad in front of him. Now tell me about your childhood. You had your own little niche in the tangled ecosystem of the City of Keys. What was it? Okay, so what are our stats here? Guts and graft can be increased. Guts, graft, guile, esoterica, insight. Oh my, this might be a little bit more complicated, mechanically speaking. Alright. Orphan. You grew up in Orphanstown, a pale waif in iron shackles, abandoned to the tender care of the matrons and the perilous machinery of the factory. You needed to be tough to survive to adulthood and freedom. That's interesting. We're going to read all of these. If you are not familiar with the Sunless Skies series, if you don't know what to expect here, it's a lot of reading. It's going to be a lot of me reading options off of menus, so just calibrate your expectations accordingly. The apprentice grew up in your parents' workshop, pumping bellows, hammering metal, and learning the family trade. Unfortunately, the business collapsed. No individual artisan can compete with the factory. I kind of like that. I both like the idea of a skill called stat called graft, and also that sort of story seed. That's our current winner of the two. Heir. You grew up in one of the most prominent noble families of the city. You were heir to an impressive title, a sense of self-importance, and, most importantly, money, an extra 500 guineas. Not terribly interesting. Urchin. Your parents were negligent, so the roofs and the cobbles looked after you instead. You learned street lingo and street smarts, you stole your food, and you crawled through the ratways to give tribute to the beggar's god. Well, if the beggar's god is a rat himself, then this is interesting, but probably not the way we're going. Student. You showed early academic progress and achieved a scholarship at Pauper's College. You spent weeks at a time lost in the rag stacks, the city's largest library. Oh, I do like that. Esoterica is also a fun stat. The runaway had wanderlust from a young age and stowed away on a merchant's kinetipede when very young. You never saw your family again, but you saw wonders and horrors. Comfortable, you were brought up by loving parents, and while you weren't wealthy, you never starved. Savor these memories. You know, I feel like video games don't usually offer an option like this. It's always like, what was the big trauma in your past? That almost makes me want to pick that, honestly. Hawker increases your grit by 10. You sold newspapers, fighting 100 other hawkers for the best streets in great brass-knuckled brawls. Those who couldn't fight wouldn't make money, so you learned to fight. And the scavenger, your family lived amongst the trash heaps of Junk Palace, picking amongst the detritus. Even with your eagle eyes, you never found the grand buried treasure your father always talked about. Only coins and trinkets. Yo, I kind of like that idea. Especially if it leads us on a story where there's buried treasure. But I think we're gonna go for apprentice. I like where that's leading. And your professional life, asks Rutherford. You grew up, of course, as children sometimes do. Your childhood slipped away, and you earned your keep as... By the way, this sentence right here is one of those wonderful... This is something that I think that the Fallen London universe is really good at. A sentence that doesn't sound menacing, and then you think about it for a moment, and it hits you in a deep emotional place. Did I become a detective, increasing my vigilance? Law enforcement in the city mainly involves catching orphans, debtors, and beggars, and patrolling the nicer streets where all the crimes are indoors. You rose above that, though. You made clever deductions and brought murderers to justice. I don't know if our character would be into getting into the business of catching orphans and punishing debtors. Soldier, you're a veteran of the Glass Reclamation and the Chimeric campaign. The first ended in disaster, and the second in a bitter stalemate, leaving no reward but scars and corpses. At least you have your pension. Scholar was a professor at Pauper's College. You wrote treatises, chatted with bohemian friends in coffee houses, and led expeditions to find students lost in the rag stacks. Occasionally, you taught. You know, when you had to. Clergy, the gods of the house are venal things, common as fleas, but you found something worthy of worship in the Sanctioned Nine for a while. That's interesting. Coming from the background we chose, it's sort of an interesting life trajectory. A crook, you claimed a street in Sticky End and had a gang of your own. You peddled drugs and black market goods and left rivals dead in the gutter. The money was good, but your little operation was torn apart by internal squabbles. An industrialist might have made the right connections, the right bribes, and the right investments. You owned a string of mines and workhouses, and money poured in. You went bankrupt eventually, but kept a little money aside for an emergency. So if you had chosen both of the money-making options, you would end up with an awful lot more than the 400 we're starting with here. I wonder how important the money really is. Miner worked in the Howling Pits, digging for coal, diamonds, and fossilized ghosts. A miner's life is drudge, misery, and mortal peril, but a single lucky discovery can pay for a whole new life, if it can be smuggled out successfully. The adventurer never had a proper job. You've been traveling the house all your life, but you've never led an expedition. You've hitched rides, done dirty work, and risked your neck, all to see as much of this great dark world as possible. Well, obviously I like that one. And lawyer had the gift of gab and put it to good use. The legal profession in the City of Keys is a corrupt and decadent nightmare, where a single mistake can cost you everything. Only the cunning survive. You know what? I'm going to go clergy. I think that's a really interesting character trajectory. Maybe you left that way of life in disgrace, or maybe you retired in honor. Maybe you simply got bored. It doesn't matter. The fact you left is what's important. Your work cannot have been wholly your life, says Rutherford. What was the other claim on your time? I was a boxing preacher. Ah, fisticuffs. You've been the champion of the city's bare-knuckle fighting scene for 3 years running. It's, again, interesting trajectory. Debauchery. This is a classic story. The preacher addicted to drugs, alcohol, and other things. You've lost entire days and awoken without memories or regrets. Eventually, you built up a tolerance. Occultism. Giving yourself over to the study of the occult and it shaking the faith that you had that led you to become a clergyman in the first place, that's interesting. Also, it's not exactly a super original story, but I might want to go there. Gave yourself over to the study of the occult. You pored over forbidden tomes and learned strange secrets. Gambling. You have managed to acquire a small fortune in illegal gambling dens, though you know your luck won't last forever. Tinkering. None of your inventions have worked out yet, but you're sure you just need to iron out a few kinks here and there. That's also potentially interesting, given our initial background. Maybe we sort of our faith was shaken by some kind of event that we have not yet filled in, and we sort of fell back into tinkering, or maybe we just always kind of did this on the side. It's just a thing that keeps us connected to who we were. Sketching. You have an artist's eye, and you make quick and accurate sketches of any interesting sights you come across. Tourism. You have traveled the 7 cities and seen its wonders. You've seen the Green River Scenic in the City of Knives and the Star Gardens in the City of Masks. Okay, that was the thing I was curious about, was whether the City of Keys was it for known civilization, because the idea of just getting in a whatever it was called, a leg train, and then never seeing your family again, I wondered if that was I went to a different city and couldn't get back, or if by the time I came back they were just gone. Socializing. You spend most of your free time with other people, chatting, laughing, and enjoying good company without any ulterior motive. Or schmoozing. You spend most of your free time playing politics, flattering, gossiping, manipulating, and lying in order to further your own ambitions. I kind of like the study of the occult thing. The occultist preacher is definitely a trope, but it's a trope I like a lot. Oh, good news, says Rutherford. Your brain is mostly intact. Lodgings unlocked. Your lodgings can be found in the City of Keys, provided we make it back there. So you have 3 fragments of epiphany. A memory was stolen from you. Whatever memory they took from you must have been important, says Bradley. Let's get it back. It's probably just a memory of happier days, says Rutherford, bored. Memory thieves can sell that sort of thing for a fortune on the black market. Not worth risking our lives over. You still look a little woozy, Captain, says Bradley. Do you want us to help you get back up to speed with the day-to-day running of things? Yeah, that might be a good idea. Bradley nods. The last we saw of the memory thieves, they were heading directly north of here, probably up to Clayton's Mill to sell your memory on the black market. Okay, well, maybe we can catch them. Memory may not even be worth retrieval, but how would we know? Oh, okay. Is this all... These are my crew. The light bearer, the guard captain, the record keeper. Okay. Interesting. If I click on you, okay, we can interact. Viola Knox looks down her nose at you whenever you suggest she might do any work. She came second in her entire year at the academy, she tells you, and this job is beneath her. With a sniff, she resumes reading the newspaper. I feel like we shouldn't flirt with our crew, at least not immediately. Let's take a moment to get an idea of what's going on around here first. What are these other... Okay, so that's our cargo. This is sort of our log of all of our things and the information we have. Very, very Fallen London. Or very, very Sunless Skies so far. Okay, so they're giving us +1 points, and they're all unwounded. Here's our kinetopede. We have some weapon bays, but only one of them actually has a weapon in it. Okay. Well, I guess let's get moving? Or do we want to stop and talk to everybody? How do I... yeah, return. Monday 2nd of Broach 1823. Morday 2nd? A swirl of pale moths goes eddying up into the blackness above. So... last visited the City of Keys. How do I actually move? How do I do a thing? I guess I just click on nodes. This isn't like a drive it around manually kind of thing. Are we actually burning fuel right now? We might be. Yeah, let's press W to forward and... Oh, okay, I can't just... Right, it drives like a train. Sure, I can't just be like, hey, go up. Alright, what does this one do? The upper deck crew are important characters, slightly different, with faces and names and unique stories. Talk to them and spend apprehensions to increase your stats. The lower deck crew will help you in combat and die horribly on your behalf. Recruit more upper and lower deck crew at the cities. Okay. I would love to do that. So... These are my lower deck crew? Hold on, close that. Okay, I see. So, it seems like time is ticking away. Your stats have a huge impact on gameplay. Well, yeah, I would imagine so. Grit increases combat damage, both melee and long range. There's melee. Guts speeds up your individual crew's rate of healing and increases their overall HP in combat. Insight increases frequency of updates to your map. Spirit slows the rate of sanity decrease. We have a lot of this, right? Graft increases kinetipede speed and fuel efficiency. We also have a fair amount of that. Guile increases your chance to dodge missiles in combat and successfully flee. Vigilance increases the chance your own missiles will hit. Esoterica increases the rate at which you gain apprehensions, which are spent to improve all other stats. So that seems like a pretty important one. Jesus. I just got jump scared. Well, that's frustrating. So wait, hold on. How do I drag this up? If I want to stop and actually read this. No, that's not what I want to do. Pause. Nope, that's just that same menu. When I look at the logbook for my notes, there's just notes popping up constantly in the corner, and it's kind of a pain to read them while I'm focusing on other stuff. Yeah, okay. One of the crew is whistling. The tune is naggingly familiar, so we think north is where the thieves went. Well, I guess there's not too many other places they could be. How do I interact with... Weird. So I'm definitely taking hull damage from the collisions. Oh man, I really love the graphics of like the stuff around us. Can I... Doesn't seem like I have a way of... Oh, wait, sums up. Our surgeon wants a word. Rutherford. A sour, gray-faced man who drinks 2 bottles of whiskey a day and smokes like a chimney. I'm also not going to flirt with him. Not yet, at least. Whiskey has been going missing from your cargo. Rutherford might know a thing or two about it. As you walk into his surgery, Rutherford hastily shoves a half-empty bottle under the table. What's the matter? He asks, struggling to focus his gaze. You stub your toe or something? Buddy, I trust you will be paying me back for the missing whiskey? I'm sorry. I'll never do it again. He is so struck by remorse that he apparently needs a drink to recover. He fumbles and the bottle smashes on the floor. Ah, piss, says Rutherford, swaying gently. With excruciating difficulty, he lights himself a cigarette. We have a casualty. Need an urgent whiskey transplant for it to save the patient. I better go to the cargo, see what I could find. No, absolutely not. He shambles back sometime later with a bottle in each hand. I clicked to stop him. I know, he chuckles. Ambitious. Thought we could share. My dude, I will fire you if you keep this up. You gotta get your shit under control. Fine then, says Rutherford. You can't fire me. I fire myself. Go get someone with a license from the Surgeons Association. I'm sure they'll be stone sober when they rip your heart out of your chest. Why do you hate the Surgeons Association so much? Why do you keep bringing this up? Rutherford gathers himself, puts the bottle to one side, and takes a deep draw on his cigarette. Where do I start? He mutters. I had a doctor before my name once. Not exactly a respected physician, but at least I had a license. Unfortunately, I had an attack of conscience. You see, another drag on the cigarette. The Surgeons Association is stealing hearts. It happened again. I did it again. I had a definite habit early on in Sunless Skies of reading things that were being said literally as though they were being said figuratively, and I did it here again with that line about ripping your heart out. Apparently, he's concerned that someone from the association might literally rip my heart out. What do you mean? If their patients are poor enough and powerless enough, the association steals their heart, he says, leaving the patient with a shorter life expectancy and a hollow ribcage, but still alive somehow, through occult interventions, I suspect. What did they need the hearts for? Rutherford laughs darkly. Well, it's a nice little money earner. Sell them to the factory. He nods in the vague direction of your Kinetipede's heartlight. How do you think they make those things? Pigs' hearts? No, it needs to be human, and it needs to be alive. How do you know this? I treated a patient without a heart, says Rutherford. A little old lady, sweetest woman you ever met. So I did some digging on her behalf and dug a little too deep. Found that this was a common money-making scheme amongst the top brass at the association. I was just too low-rung to know about it. He knocks back another nip of whiskey. His face is blotched and he's slurring his words. Okay, well what can we do about this? Well, I went to the City Watch, but they just locked me up, says Rutherford. Then Holdsworth, the chairman of the association, came into the cell. Offered me a lot of money to keep quiet. So, of course, I took it, because what am I, an idiot? He knocks back a second swig. He stumbles, drops his cigarette, and tries to put it out with his boot, but misses and kicks you in the shins. Dude. Well, I guess we gotta leave him to his drinking. Rutherford raises a bottle to you in a mock salute as you leave. Maybe the association was doing people a favor, he says. A heart can be an affliction. So +1 relationship with Rutherford, I guess. He keels over and keeps drinking on the floor. I'm definitely not flirting with Rutherford. I guess let's just leave him to his duties. Bradley wants some word with us as well. A fat, round-faced man with glaring eyes, an off-putting monobrow, and a terrible temper. He grunts in annoyance as you approach, and bristles his brows in your direction. You find Bradley in a spluttering rage, so I'm allowed to just flirt with anybody. I appreciate that, actually. We'll find somebody good to do it with. He paces back and forth, snorting and spluttering like a kicked horse. Well, I never in my life ever conceived of... Each 3-word fragment is spat out with wounded intensity. I discovered obscene material in the mess hall, Captain. What kind of material? What are we talking about? A book of sexually explicit daguerreotypes, says Bradley, after a moment to collect himself. The word sexually is spoken in a whisper. Okay, he's that guy. A book of sexually explicit daguerreotypes. Ever since we left, all I've seen is horror, monstrosity, and perversion, shouts Bradley. The City of Keys is the last worthwhile thing in this entire goddamned house. Well, I mean, things seem pretty bad to me, if I'm being honest. And take me back to the City of Keys, says Bradley. I no longer wish to be a part of this crew. It has been an honor serving you, but I've had enough of this nonsense. Oh, jeez. Well, I mean, should we try to keep him on? No, I'm going to honor his request. He's clearly seen some shit. It seems like the nicest thing we could do, the best way we could pay him back, is just honor his request. We'll pick up a new person for whatever his position is. I don't even know what he does. I trust you'll be able to find a good record keeper in my absence, says Bradley stiffly. I would recommend someone if I could, but I have only ever worked with fools. You better mean before me. He storms off to his quarters, scattering pornographic fragments in his wake. I mean, sure. Who among us? So he is our esoterica guy, our record keeper. So can we not interact with the stuff in this room? This train is good and creepy. I really love this thing here. Like weird rook chess piece. A weird version of a rook. I've never seen a chess set. She's scared me so bad. Never seen a chess set where the rook was a crow. So I guess we're just supposed to go through the northern thing here. I might have to... Hold on a second. We're going to see about turning that down. It's probably a sound thing, not a music thing. I'm actually really digging the music so far. We're just going to turn the sound down 1 notch. Difficulty, enjoyable. Well, I mean... Or bad idea. Upper deck crew are more likely to permanently die. Enemy weapons and armor are improved. I haven't even tried to balance this. Or the recommended game... Okay, we'll play on the recommended gameplay experience. Certainly at least until we know what that actually feels like. Uh-oh. An enemy train, but it's tiny and weak. It's probably the combat tutorial is my guess. I can't shoot at it by clicking. Do I need to bump it? You recognize their kinetopede instantly. This is those memory thieves. It's much sleeker than your own cobbled together mess. They're not trying to run. They're barreling straight toward you, legs all a-skitter. Well, I do want my mind whole again. We could try to ask them for our memory back. Here's the thing. If we attack them and we blow up their train, I don't think I'm going to get my memory back. Let's try this. A bold proposal, and you are at a slight disadvantage, but we have spirit. Yes, we do. The memory thieves prove surprisingly amenable. They will return your stolen memory. Fighting you is simply not worth the risk. You climb down to the floor, your boots sending up a great cloud of dust. Don't leave the circle of safety provided by your heartlight. The dark would eat you alive. Oh, that's really cool. So there's a thing that's made of a human heart, and it's the only thing capable of holding back the grue-filled darkness. I'm digging it. I'm digging the ideas so far. The memory thief captain is a typical bandit, an odd collection of scavenged clothes, goggles, and bandana. He hands you the battered box that holds your stolen memory, and as he does so, his sleeve lifts. Strange. He has a tattoo of a skull with a line slashed through one eye socket. An odd tattoo. Looking him up and down, you notice other discrepancies. His fingernails too clean, his hair too neat. No scars, and all his teeth. He turns and hurries back to his kinetopede before you can ask further questions. Why, if it was so important that they steal my memory, why just give it back so easily? Huh. Apprehensions. The sum total of what you've learned about the house is a good use of the double meaning of apprehension. Facts, secrets, fears. Use them to increase your stats or make progress in the main story. How do you gain them? Find new places, write poetry, complete quests, betray yourself, kill the sun, have sex with the devil, whatever. I'm really happy to be back in a place that feels like Sunless Skies again. So, do I have a map? Yes, I have a map. This is the thing we were just on. That's the City of Keys over there. That's Waker's Respite. So, I guess we ought to head in that general direction. We don't necessarily need to go all the way home right now. Your navigator will sometimes update the map with nearby locations. This happens more often if you have high insight. So, we can just wander if we want. Let's head back in the direction of the City of Keys, because we gotta drop off Bradley. We don't have to go straight there. We can fiddle around nearby and explore. So it's a huge house full of rooms that's just like constantly sucking things up from other dimensions. It's an interesting concept. I wonder if we enter a room that has an interactable place in it, like the City of Keys, I wonder if we'll immediately start or if we have to move to it. Also, the fact that our heartlight is visible down here makes me think that probably this is a gauge of some kind and we have to keep an eye on it. Your heartlight slows the rate at which your sanity drops. You can turn it off to hide from other vehicles and save fuel, but beware, there are things the light keeps at bay. Yep, very familiar. Well, these guys seem to want to fight. Let's maybe get involved in a thing. Dilapidated boxcars, gouged with craters and scars from some recent peril. You see dozens of travelers squashed inside. From the coughing elderly to the squalling infants, they are hopeful and afraid. You wonder what drove them to risk the darkness of the house. Well, that being the case, I probably don't want to attack them. It doesn't seem to be a good reason to. I don't need to just murder innocents and take their stuff. They seem to be having a rough go of it already. You wish the captain safe passage. She smiles bitterly. Don't worry. We'll get in a fight. We'll get in a fight with somebody who wants to be in a fight with us. Man, look at the size of these mushrooms. I love this lighting effect. So far, I am all the way in. I'm digging this very much. Also, they let me be a tiger man. Morday 9th of Broach 1823. You enjoy a dreamless, untroubled sleep. Hey, lucky me. So we don't need to keep an eye on what's going on the map too much. It's not going to be as fast on the reflexes as I was thinking. We have plenty of time to look over here and read notes. Map updated. Sandy approaches you with one of her outdated maps. We're definitely near the City of Angels now, she tells you with nearly convincing confidence. Almost convinced. Oh, actually, a lot of stuff's been filling in. So the City of Angels is in the other direction. We've also discovered, we think, the City of Engines. Well, we're closer to this one. Let's go just due south. Still scary. Still scary, it turns out. Is that a ruined building over there? Very interesting. So to turn off the light, do I... Okay, just click. Oh, I don't know how to turn it back on. Well, I can't just turn it back on. I have to wait for the... Okay, I see. So you can't just flick it quickly. If you turn it off, it turns off for a while. That looks like a thing. That looks like a danger thing. I am too fast for it. I mean, we gotta get in a fight sometime. I guess let's find out. This is gonna kill me. Desperate folk indeed. All that awaits them at home is a brisk interrogation and a hanging, and they know it. They want your money, and they want your fuel. I am not giving them what they want. They were angry at the world in general. Now they're angry at you in particular. Yeah, we refuse. Oh! It's like FTL. Yeah, help. Combat is turn-based. Queue up your actions now, and they will play out at the end of your turn. Click on your guns below and aim them at the enemy. You need a crew member in the weapon bay to fire the guns. So this is our below deck crew that we're looking at here. 150 meters away. Okay, so we can choose to advance or flee, and if we get this far away, we can exit the battle. The enemy will try to flee if their sanity is low enough. Plinky Susan, our 35mm long gun. I mean, we probably want to take out their own weapons, right? But do we know where their weapon... Is this their control room? I don't have any idea how the system works here. I guess we're just going to try stuff. Oh, no, you're a gunner. Oh, right. Okay, the gunners are in the rooms where the... Okay, I see. Yeah, shoot at that. So you're primed. And then do we want to change distance? I'm going to try to disengage, because they're more heavily armed than we are. They do have slightly less hull than we do, and their sanity is only at anxious. So I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen here, but let's give ourselves the option of fleeing. Moving one of your crew or aiming a weapon uses up one action. You have 4 actions per turn, so choose carefully. Oh, okay. Interesting. So can I click on my engine? I can click to move my crew. If I want to move you, how do I... Okay, there we go. We're really far away. The projectile's closing. Ooh. Alright, well that hit. It didn't do that much damage to him. It hurt the gun pretty badly. Ow. All of my everything. There's an end turn button in the bottom left corner of the screen, and of course we have our heart light. A pipe in your engine bursts, filling the room with steam. Viola, you must fix the thing. How do I don't know if she's doing that. I don't know how this works. And then, do we have medical personnel? Rutherford, get over here. Okay, so he's got a little healing aura, I'm assuming. Maybe when we hit end turn, he'll do whatever. Alright, let's continue to try to shoot at this gun. And I'm going to also continue to try to back off. So that'll be our turn then. They are closing, but they're not as focused on closing as we are on getting away. We're going to break that gun if we hit it again. This is really interesting. This is not what I was expecting this to be. Your crew can gain wounds or even die in combat. Wounds heal slowly over time. Upper deck crew have a chance to be only incapacitated in combat rather than killed, while lower deck crew will always die. And death is permanent. That's true, it is. Could you... So we have our light bearer in here. Could you get in this room? I don't even know if that does the thing I want it to do. We should run. Yeah, flee. Flee. I think I pressed down again trying to get the thing all the way to the flee icon. And I did that instead of actually clicking flee. And so I spent our last action and our turn ended. Oh, bad. Alright. The heartlight has been doused and your kinetipede slams into lurching, scrabbling movement. You skitter into the darkness before your enemy can react. Retreat into shadows. So did we have to pass a guile challenge to flee? Is that... Alright. Get the hell out of here. We're in bad shape now. We very nearly died. Click on my heartlight, trying to get it to turn back on. This looks like an interactable. Okay, so we just get close enough. A rickety old house from another world dropped into this much larger house without ceremony. Its ceiling has fallen in, and rats scatter from the rubble as you approach. Yeah, let's enter. We're doing alright on sanity, and I'm real worried about our... we need to get supplies or something. Get away! Get away! Crouched in one corner of the cottage is a scrawny man, bearded and unkempt. He stares at you with wide eyes, like a startled child, and aims a rifle at you with trembling hands. This must be a visitant, snatched from another world and crawled inside here for shelter from the dark. I do want to try to persuade him to join my crew. I think it's the best thing for both of us. Well, let's ask how he got here first. I'm worried if we ask how he got here, we might lose this option, but let's see. Okay, no, we didn't. In a croaking whisper, the visitant tells you how he was conscripted into a war against the things from the skies. A missile was descending upon his platoon, then everything went black, and he found himself here. Now I'm dead and in hell, he says. I know it to be true. You won't trick me, demon. He waves his rifle. I'm gonna try to persuade him to join up. We are at slight advantage. I'm very good at spirit. After much gentle cajoling, the visitant finally puts down his rifle. He agrees to join your crew. He doesn't have any better options, after all. Boy, what do I need? I don't even know. I need a new guard. He's got weapon skills. Welcome to the crew. The visitant snaps off a smart salute and shoulders his rifle. He gawps at your kinetipede with wonder. Yeah, welcome aboard, friend. Heartlight, okay. We were starting to see spooky things in that little scope down there. So how far am I from... Okay, next tile. And hey, we didn't even die yet. City of Engines. I'm really digging this so far. This seems really cool. A city of moving metal. The air swarms with flying machines, and below them the city turns on colossal groaning cogs. Beyond the bustle and the madness, Tarwater Bay lurks, black and still as volcanic stone. Here the impossible is routine, and even the house's tenuous laws of reality are completely suspended, provided that you build a good enough machine to suspend them. New location visited, we got 3 apprehensions. Okay. So this is go back out, this is... you save the game. Give me a quick save here. Okay. Repair your hull. This will cost you more than half of the money that you have on you, but also living is good. Your engineers help with the repairs, hopefully speeding the process along. It's still an agonizing wait. You spent 3 days having your kinetipede fixed up. I wonder if the measurement of time is actually important. We don't seem to have a supplies meter or anything like that. Kinetipede is returned to you pristine. So resting and recovering will give us back sanity. It's probably worth doing. A bedraggled white-coated man has washed up on the Tarwater shore. You stumble across him lying face down in the rust-flecked sand. The young man lies in a mound of rust, oily black waves lapping at his feet. When you check his pulse, you find he's still alive, though only barely. Tarwater Bay is manned and fortified. The beach sprawls with barbed wire. Searchlights sweep the waves every few seconds. One beam of light lands on you and the half-drowned man, and immediately a bright figure detaches from the nearest sentry tower and flies down to investigate you. Oi! It's one of the city's rocket men, now hovering above you and spewing fire from his misshapen metal legs. He's holding a rifle in his hands. Did this fellow wash up from the Tarwater? Yeah, I don't see any point in... I think it's pretty obvious what happened here. I think if we lie about it, we're just going to get in trouble. The rocket man frowns, swaying back and forth as he wrestles for control over his unruly rocket legs. Nothing good comes from Tarwater Bay, he says. Trash shamblers, technic squid, other half-machine abominations. I never heard of a man washing up. He glances down at the supine figure in the rust. Is he alive? I don't see a good reason to lie here. I don't really know what the procedure is. I think we're just going to tell the truth. I think he's alive. Well, we'll need to question him. The Rocket Man descends to the floor, the flames from his legs dying to embers. Find out why he was here in the first place. If he's been working with the abominations neath the water, we'll make him fucking well regret it. If the half-drowned man doesn't have a good excuse, he's in deep trouble. The City of Engines has a well-founded paranoia about anything that emerges from the tar water. I could try to convince the Rocket Man to leave the white-coated man alone. We don't know anything about him. The white-coated man could totally be a bad dude. But I guess, given the choice between the Rocket Man with a gun and the stranger, I guess let's try to at least give this guy a chance to be okay. This is just some innocent half-drowned soul. He isn't worth your time. Toss of the coin. Could go either way. Our spirit gets tested a lot. We passed. The Rocket Man waves his hand irritably. Yeah, you're probably right, he says. This poor bugger probably just got too close to the shore and had a lucky escape. Why don't you take him to a doctor? I don't have time to babysit civilians. A roar, a burst of foul black smoke, and the Rocket Man blasts away. You're left alone with the half-drowned man. Yeah, I'm gonna take him back to the Kinetipede. Back at the Kinetipede, Rutherford is forced to administer several blows to the ribs and a good dose of smelling salts before the half-drowned man finally wakes. Rutherford might not be a very good doctor. I think that's a possibility. He immediately spews a great volume of oily salt water across the floor of the surgery. Terribly sorry, apologizes the drowned man immediately, wiping the oil and vomit from his mustache. Oh dear, what happened? Did we build it? Sorry, build what? Nothing, says Dr. Delgado brightly. I was just a tad confused is all. This is my first time above the waves. He takes a great gulp of air. The oxygen here is delicious. You can really tell it hasn't been recycled. Wait, sorry, who are you? Dr. Henry Delgado, at your service. The mustachioed man shakes your hand damply, some color returning to his cheeks. Engineer, inventor, and minister for demonic schemes. Okay, that's not great. Let's explain how we found him. He listens, stroking his mustache theatrically. I see. Well, thank you for pulling me out of the clutches of that nosy Rocket Man. You certainly saved my bacon there, so you did. Ever since I first came to the house, I have lived beneath the waves of the bay. Now I've been forced from my home, and I don't know how to return. A troublesome situation for old Dr. Delgado, wouldn't you say? Ha ha! Yeah, you seem to be taking it in stride, though. What are you going to do? Well, perhaps there is a light at the end of the tunnel. Perhaps my old pal, what is your name? You tell him. Perhaps my old pal SB can help me out once more. I am a master scientist, able to shape technology with the slightest whim or thought. Let me join your crew as chief engineer. I will single-handedly revolutionize your engine before I work out a way to return beneath the waves. Our current engineer will return to the City of Keys. We don't really know our current engineer. I don't know my crew very well. Hold on a second. Current crew. Current engineer... Oh, Viola. Viola doesn't seem to like us very much. She was injured in the fighting as well. I'm gonna... yeah, alright. Alright, sure. The Minister of Demonic Affairs. Why not? This can't possibly be a bad idea. Excellent, excellent. Dr. Delgado claps his hands together and laughs. I cannot wait to investigate your engine. I wonder what strange new technologies await me here above the water. Now, if you excuse me, I need to vomit another 6 liters or so of water, he says. Yeah, you feel free. Dr. Delgado retreats to his new quarters, slamming his fist into his chest. I mean, do it. Could you off the side of the Kinetipede, please? Let's gather news. The streets are a cacophony of competing voices. Mechanical, telepathic, human. The problem isn't finding news. It's sorting the vaguely legitimate sounding from the outright lies. Technic Squid teleport above Irontooth Cog. An Anthroparian activist has been destroyed by members of the Soul Movement. A famous inventor has been injured in an explosion. Well, well, the city turns. So we know the current affairs here now. Let's retrieve our memories. We have other stuff to do here, but we've probably waited long enough on this. Let's attach the nozzle to the hole in my skull and just crank the handle. Just force them right back in there. Boy, I sure hope that this box is full of memories and not, I don't know, seawater or something. A blood-red mountain gazing down at you with one hideous bile-yellow eye. A motionless clock, blood seeping through the wall behind it. A hard-faced woman at a window with a key in her hand. Whose memories are these? Not yours, certainly. They don't fit with any of the others in your head. You had expected to complete a jigsaw. Instead, you found a piece from a different puzzle. Or a couple of pieces, it sounds like. This theft was an orchestrated affair. If you can hunt down the mastermind, perhaps you will learn more. Yeah, so that's why they were so okay with parting with the memories, because these are not the thing they put in all the effort to steal. They'd been fleeing to Clayton's Mill. Perhaps we'll start there. Let's wander the streets a bit, now that we kind of know what's up. The city is a self-perpetuating machine, endlessly turning, endlessly producing machinery. There's more to see here than you could manage in one lifetime. The street encircles a cog, an upright cog that's half underground. As you walk down it, the ground rumbles beneath your feet. The cog is moving, and it plunges you into the darkness below. In the few dark minutes before the streetlights turn on, you stumble onto an interlocking bridge that drops you onto another cog nearby. Abruptly, you have wandered into the hidden bowels of the city, the undercogs, spinning and grinding in subterranean twilight. That was really easy to accidentally do. They should put up a sign. No one lives down here. No one that the above-ground citizens consider important, anyway. Just the desperate and the deranged. A bearded old fellow is limping toward you, apparently dressed in nothing but a stained bedsheet. "Hey, hey!" he shouts. "I want a word!" Yeah, alright. Let's just listen to him, but first, wait for him to stop wheezing from the exertion of catching up to you. The old man's breath is hot and horrible. "You should stay down here with me. Down here we'll be safe when the presence rises." The presence? "It lives beneath the Tarwater Bay." The old man lowers his voice. "Didn't you wonder what builds these things and sends them up to kill us? Mad, ancient old thing it is." He waits for this to sink in. "Do you believe me? No one up there believed me." Absolutely, sure, of course. Listen, I believe that you believe you. That's what's important. His rheumy eyes brighten. "I'm so glad." The old man presses something small and cold into your hand and limps away. Gained 1 gallows candle. Oh, it's a human finger. Wonderful. But I'm just so glad that we did that. A prospective passenger, a hunched figure, waves you down at the station. A yellow Mycena asks for safe passage to the City of Keys. It will pay you 100 guineas on arrival. Well, we're headed that way anyway, and it looks like we're getting desperate for money already. Its eyes won't meet yours, but it is trusting its life to a stranger. So I'm assuming from the name Mycena that it's a mushroom guy? Does it have eyes? I guess it has eyes. We probably don't need any more crew members. We could, at any time, decide to make him a captive. That doesn't seem necessary. Let's rest and recover. You trawl the bars, drinking to old times and lost friends and lessons learned. When you finally collapse into bed, your sleep is peaceful and untroubled by nightmares. Your sanity recovers slightly. You feel better already. One night of humanity and warmth makes a world of difference. Okay, so it's a pretty significant recovery then. Well then, I guess we're good here? We have our Gallows Candle. Not wax, but human fat, harvested from the corpse of a hanged man. These grisly items are used in many occult rituals and are crucial to the manufacture of Hands of Glory. We have an empty memory box, which I guess would allow us to drill a hole just above the pre-amnesiac's ear. And then a Mycena passenger. It must be uncomfortable to ride in the cargo car, but it's safer. And then, yeah, it's weird that he's cargo. So we have some... yeah, we had to get to know our people a little bit. I like that you have such a large crew, though. Okay, I guess let's just go to the City of Keys. Oh, sorry, I want to hit this button. In which direction will you go? And we can pore over the map. We just had... I think we want to head north. The Tarwater blocks easy passage to the south door. You'll have to charter a flying machine. Well, I think we want to go out either north or east, right? And I don't think it matters which, because we have to go north and then also east. East to Waker's Respite, where the naughty doctors do strange things to insomniacs. They probably won't let you in. Well, we'll try that out. We'll see about that. It does seem like we burn fuel pretty quickly. So, ooh, that's a big train. Feels like I don't want to interact with those guys. Oh, they're not hostile, though. Okay. What's going on here? An abandoned cottage. A rickety old house from another world. Okay, we've seen that description already. Yeah, let's enter the cottage. Who's inside? Inside, you find an interesting tableau. Candle stubs, a faded chalk pentagram, a dozen oddly shaped skulls, a jar of newts. It looks like a ritual was conducted here long ago. Perhaps some unlucky fools summoned themselves to the house on accident. Well, I do love some occultist paraphernalia. There's nothing else here, so off we scuttle. I really love the light. Like, the lighting effects are so cool. Okay, so that's Clayton's Mill over there. My plan is to swing past Waker's Respite on the way to the City of Keys. So we want to go east like 2 screens and then north. Oops, that's the wrong button. There we go. I figured out. I know how to drive a velocipede? Kinetopede. I know how to drive a spooky leg train. Who says I don't? We're definitely near Fargyle Keep, says our navigator. Fargyle Keep. We are not near Fargyle Keep. That's not correct. Even by your own reckoning. That's not right. Okay, a train that looks smaller than ours. Let's have words. Some ill-mannered brutes. The bandit Kinetopede is draped in trophies and badly fitting armor plates, doubtless looted from other victims. They demand money, and they're not polite about it. The captain makes inappropriate intimations regarding your genealogy. We might be able to avoid this via guile. I sort of want to win a fight, though. It seems like combat's super dangerous, though. You know what? Let's try this. Hide most of your money and give them a pittance? No, I want to fight. I want to try to win a fight. Okay, these guys don't look any tougher than we do. And then, what else do we want to do? Well, we do have some injured. That's me, that's... Where's what's-his-face? Our doctor doesn't seem to be around? Well, I was going to move the doctor onto other people, but I guess no, I'm not, in fact, going to do that. I guess spread out? Right, like, we don't have a lot else to do here. Go to different rooms. Yeah, you don't really need to be there. I'm curious what the guard actually does. 'Cause he's got an aura. I'm gonna move you to here. Alright. We're just separating our crew, trying to make it so people aren't too gathered up for damage. Ooh, a miss. That's no good. And of course they don't miss. Well... that makes me feel like we're in not a great spot here. Let's try that again. So we don't just want to separate people into different rooms. We want them to be actually, like, far apart. I'm going to move our chief engineer to here. I'm going to move this guy to there. We're primed and firing, so I get to move one more person. I mean, it sure seems like they're trying to kill our light bearer. Go to the far corner? Like, try to make it so that they can't do too much, can't do damage to too many people at once here. And also, try to guide their targeting away from the engine. Ow. It would be really cool to have more guns. We need more guns very badly. Are you okay? Are you on fire? Seems like you might be on fire there. No, okay. Good. Run away from the fire. Try not to stand in that. I'm gonna move down here. Seems like it would be bad for SB to get killed, right? I'm sure everybody was thinking that. They're getting closer. Distance represents how far away the enemy is. Click the arrow buttons to do a thing. When you are under 50 meters, they can send their guards to board you, or you can do the same to them. Okay. They seem to have 2 guards. Is that... do we also have 2 guards? We have 3 guards. Yeah, you know what? Close. Let's spend one of our actions closing. Oh, they've screwed up now. Oh, hold on. If we're actually about to destroy their gun, never mind. I want to back up. Actually, let's back up a bunch. Because if we actually do manage to kill their gun here, then combat at anything other than melee range is going to be really, really good for us, right? Did we get it? Is it dead? I mean, I'm just going to shoot at this area one more time. There's no reason not to, right? And continue to withdraw. And we can have our engineer move over here, because he did repair the damage that was done there. It just doesn't happen immediately, is all. So yeah, their gun is disabled. So that means we don't necessarily need to fire at that area. Let's go for right here. Hit the most crew. We got our engineer working on this thing. Okay, get on that. And then I guess it doesn't really matter what else we do. Let's back up a little bit so that they can't approach us, but it looks like we've got this. They're just going to keep trying to close because they don't really have another play. And it seems like it's going to take a long time for us to wear them down with these weapons, because we have bad weapons. I don't think we want to move anybody or anything. Yeah, I think we're cool. We'll just, like, stay here. I don't want to back up too much, because I don't want our weapons to get inaccurate. Any more inaccurate than they already are. Alright, well, this is looking like a win. I'm just going to end the turn. They don't approach very much. Looks like they didn't approach at all that turn. Okay, we managed to blow out the lights. Wait, can I not? Oh, because they were animating. Alright, please do not repair that gun. It does seem like they should have tried to repair the gun earlier, right? Now they're running. Well, probably a little bit too late. Your artillery tears the enemy canopy to ribbons. Plumes of ash and smoke stretch to the ceiling. Time to see if there's anything left to salvage. And you live to fight again. You pick amongst the blackened remains. Surely something has survived. Ah, success! Rooting through the wreckage, you come across a bolt of Aranex silk. The pale hand amongst the wreckage could have been just another corpse, until you realize that it's twitching. You free from the rubble a dazed and wounded member of the enemy crew, somehow, and despite everything, alive. So a prisoner, some silk, and a thrilling yarn. And Tybalt approaches you after the battle. That's the head of our guards? Tybalt Balsamic IV. The wreckage of the enemy vehicle sprawls before you like the guts of some disemboweled iron god. Tybalt approaches you with two wide eyes, clutching his helmet with shaking hands. That was horrible, he whispers. I never... He pauses, then holds up his helmet to his face like a bucket, and is violently sick in it. Okay, he doesn't so much enjoy the combat. Noted. One of your upper deck crew is maimed. This means they'll start combat with very low HP and run the risk of being permanently killed. Your surgeon will heal wounded crew slowly over time, but a faster way to deal with this is to replace the wounded crew member with someone fresh and unharmed at one of the cities. You should be swapping out your crew as often as you can. Okay. That's a different way of going about things than we saw previously. Tybalt Balsamic IV is gangly and nervous and uncomfortable in his own skin. Contrary to what he may think, the fur on his upper lip does not make him seem manly. His skin is a lumpen mass of blue and black, and blood trickles from beneath his helmet into his eye. He knocks on my door with his hat in his hands. Hopefully it's been cleaned since we last spoke. I'm sorry about earlier, he says, putting the helmet slowly back on his head. Okay, probably that means it's been cleaned. I've never been in a real fight before. Never seen people, well, I mean, die. He shudders. I might not be cut out for this job, but I'm here now, aren't I? I wondered if you could give me a second chance? Dude, why did you become a guard captain in the first place? No reason, just wanted to? Tybalt looks everywhere except your eyes. Yeah, he's lying. My father doesn't know where I am. He'll have sent his men out looking for me, probably. Yeah, alright, look, it'll probably just take you some time to learn the ropes. Oh, thank you. Tybalt sniffs and wipes his eye roughly with the heel of his hand. It's better than I deserve, thank you. For a moment he struggles with himself. Then he seems to make a decision. He gets down on one knee, draws his saber, and places it at your feet. I swear to you, on all the sanctioned, I'll lay down my life for you if I have to. That's, I mean... Huh. I don't feel like accepting that oath is a good thing to do. Like, there should be a version of this that's just like, hey, buddy, calm down. But rejecting his oath... Oh, he probably takes this very seriously, right? I'm gonna accept that in the spirit that I know it was meant. I am not actually considering it a life debt. He stands up, sheathing his sword with a smile. I won't let you down. Plus, okay, so we got a lot of relationship points with him for that. He marches away, head held high. Well, Tybalt has requested that you jump out occasionally and scare him to help toughen him up and improve his reflexes. So if we get enough apprehensions, we can do that and increase his effectiveness as an officer. You know what? I'm still not in a place where I feel like hitting it with anybody. Exhaustion. You slave over your journals and notes. Scraps of poetry, places you've been, people you've met. You fall asleep at your desk, tormented. And you dream of trees. Tonight you dream of gold leaf trees, boughs that drip sparkling filigree, blue skies above and grass underfoot, shining fruit so bright you mustn't look long. You've never seen anything so beautiful. An unfortunate place to find a corpse. She is hanging impaled by 8 spears. Blood-crusted hair hides her face, and the tree behind is splattered red. As you step closer to examine her, she lifts her clouded eyes to meet yours. Finally, she says. A smile quirks the corner of her decayed lips. The years turn. We meet again. Nice to meet you, Persephone. The name comes in a flash. You aren't sure how you know it. Pleased to meet you too, SB. I probably shouldn't have... I chose SB because that's my name, but it doesn't really fit in the... it's fine, I guess. Says Persephone. She lifts one hand carefully and brushes some of the hair from her face. Blood drips. Apologies for my appearance. I have been indisposed for a few thousand years. She pauses, grimacing, to pull at one of the spears lodged through her. It does not budge. You are seeking a way to escape the house, and I know how. But in return, you have to help me. How? How can I help you? Come and find me, says Persephone. Take me down from here. I want to escape just like you, and I can help if you just free me from these damn spears. The fruits around her head are glowing like miniature suns. Okay, where are you? Her words are becoming more difficult to hear, as though she is speaking across a yawning abyss. The orchard, she says. This is where... And the rest is inaudible. The light burns your eyes. You look away. Persephone is a shimmering silhouette. Wait, but who are you? I am the 9th of the 9, she says. The lookout. I am the one left behind. The sanctioned 9, right? The blaze of the tree is extraordinary. You close your eyes, but can still see the light through your eyelids, each capillary highlighted in gold, and the world begins to dissolve in light. We will meet again, she promises, as the light of 1,000 stars strips you to the bone. When you understand more, keep exploring, keep writing, learn and grow, and dream of me again. You wake in bed, the sheets drenched in sweat. Concerns updated. A dream of trees. Yes, a little concerning. Your eyes still hurt. I love this, by the way. This is... I'm so into what's going on here. We are running, by the way. Oh god, train not fast. Train not good fast. That train had a scorpion tail. I don't want any part of that. We're way too damaged for more fighting. Your hull represents the condition of your kinetipede. If your hull reaches 0, you die. What a surprise. You also lose sanity faster in the darkness. Low sanity results in terror and delusion, and will prove ruinous in combat. Okay. Understood. So that wasn't really the way I wanted to go. I guess we'll go out the east entrance here. I'm worried that if we just turn around, that thing will still be there. I guess we should have a quick look around. Huh. That's disconcerting. Yeah, man, I'm glad I decided to finally play this. Having a really good time so far. And also, I'm a tiger man. Oh, this is bad. He's up exactly where I want to be. Hey, a bus stop. He's a little faster than we are. I don't trust... I was going to try to just loop around, but I don't trust that that would have worked. Oh, this is bad news. Come on. Okay. Yeah, I just don't want to get involved in anything while we only have 66 hull, you know? Let's check this out, though. A collapsed library. A library from another world collapsed in on itself like a badly baked cake. A few scattered books lie amongst the rubble, but they're rotten and damp. We are unlikely to succeed searching for a book, but I'm kind of curious what'll happen if we fail. Like, if we go for one of these and whiff, should we expect consequences? Let's find out. At least one must have survived the years. You search for hours, but all the books have been eaten away by darkness and damp. Best move on. Okay, so no. You can, at least some of the time, try a thing and then fail. Safely. Movement in the shadows. Eyes gleam, then retreat. The sudden dark. Your heartlight goes out so suddenly that for a half second, none of your crew seem to notice, mechanically performing their tasks in the dark. Then the shouts and screams begin. Fast shapes in the blackness. A murmured prayer. Hey, Panorama. Panorama is working furiously on the dimmed heartlight with one hand, a candle in the other. No use, it won't turn on again. It's nothing mechanical, says Rutherford. The only indication of his presence in the darkness is the floating ember of his cigarette. It's medical, a heart attack. Our only hope is to get back to the City of Keys in one piece, and have the whole heartlight replaced. Can you fix it? A cigarette bobs from side to side. Well, it can't be fixed unless we replace the dead heart inside, and I'm not volunteering mine. Any other takers? Panorama is silent. Your crew, gathered anxiously at the doorway, are silent. I am not going to offer my heart, although maybe having your heart removed doesn't kill you. No, we can make it that far if we're careful. Panorama cackles. You're wrong, she says merrily. This is how we die. Your crew are silent. No one expects you can make it. Oh god. Let's try to restart it. I mean, it looks like it's restarting. It being off might actually be a good thing right now. Yeah, it's not restarting. Okay, we just gotta make it. We just gotta make it north. I mean, it's definitely helping. So there's way more reason to turn off your light, it seems like, because those scorpion things are... Yeah, I know. We gotta take our passenger to the City of Keys. So we're just gonna head north a couple more screens and see if we can, We might die here. Must you? Must you right now be right there? Come on, dude. Killing me. Stress. The game is creating real stress. Well, I suppose we have time for a little stop-off. I love the variety of, like, weird little setting pieces. A dilapidated church. A church from another world. Its spire is sagging. Its steeple fallen in. Candle stubs and damp-rotted holy books scatter the floor inside. You wonder if it was stolen on a holy day. Perhaps an entire congregation was devoured by the dark. Looming above the altar is the obsidian statue of a grimacing goddess with bats for hair. Yeah, I don't know if we want to take the whole statue. Leave it alone. Just leave it alone. We're getting out of here. We don't need to provoke a curse by doing either of the options that might have happened there. Okay, so is this where we want to go west? Yeah. We'll just swing past. It was suggested that we probably wouldn't be able to get inside, but that's fine. Waker's Respite. It's bubbles. It's a lot of floating bubbles is what it is. The air hums with strange energies. The floating orb communes of the naughty doctors orbit each other overhead. Those who come to the house from other worlds are surprised to find that they can go much longer without food and drink, and even sleep is not exactly required for survival. But those who go without sleep for too long become wake-mad, and the naughty doctors come for them. The naughty doctors have no obligation to entertain guests. There is no one to greet you at the door, and no way to access the orbs overhead, which are usually forbidden to sound sleepers. That's interesting. We could fill our memory box with memories here. That's interesting. Boy, what do I want to do? Chain your human prisoner to the front of the kinetopede. The darkness will strip his skin away eventually. Jesus Christ. Let's try to fill our empty memory box with thrilling memories. You wake from your surgery with a new penny-sized hole in your skull. When you heft the memory box back to your cargo, it actually seems heavier. You have commodified thought. I mean, I guess that's kind of what we do here, right? Let's try to attract the Naughty Doctor's attention. Maybe this is a mistake, but they must know we're here. Maybe they'll speak with us. You wave and shout and shrill your kinetipede steam whistle. There's no acknowledgement of your existence. I guess there is nothing for us here. So, before we leave, I'm not actually allowed to... I meant to save here and stop the episode, but I guess we're pushing onward. North to the City of Keys. Don't really have a lot of options. That's fine. We'll save when we get to the City of Keys, which is definitely something that will safely happen. So we need to go west 1, north 2. Let's start with the west. Seems like a pretty safe move here, and I'm worried that guy's going to the northern entrance. Boy, there sure are a lot of terrifying scorpion trains. Where did they all come from? I think we are actually going to make it. Pandora's just a big sourpuss. Pandora? That's not her name. What's her name? Hold on. A swarm of scythes. A flock of shimmering birds are massed overhead, clanking and screeching like warped metal. Those are not beaks, but blades. The scythes dive bomb your kinetipede several times, leaving great scars across the hull. If they manage to breach, all would be lost, but your luck holds, and the scythe swarm fly away without managing to get inside. But we have lost some hull integrity. Don't have an awful lot of that left, actually. This is it, though, right? Okay. Hey, we made it. Who said we wouldn't make it? Everything's fine. We're having a perfectly normal day here. You know the streets here, the accents, the looming skyline. Even the omnipresent sense of menace is, in its own way, comfortingly familiar. This is a city of brimming possibilities, each stamped out as quickly as it forms. This is the city that opened 1,000 doors, that founded extracellular colonies. This is the most prolific producer of keys in all the house. But all things must be measured against their cost. Orphan's Town, the Howling Pits, and, most of all, the factory, squatting vastly at the center of the city, a bloated concrete tumor swollen to the size of a dozen castles. No matter how far you go, you will bring all this with you. Okay, we need to stop for the day. I can't handle the stress anymore. But I'm having a really good time so far. I'm very intrigued by this thing. That is going to have to be it for us for today. Thank you all so much for watching. The intention here is to have another episode of gameplay every weekday. So, when you come back next time, tomorrow, we will explore the City of Keys, and then probably die horribly in the darkness somehow. Doesn't that sound fun? And we'll see you then.